ǹlẹ́ níbẹ̀ wọn nílé lóko ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hey guys, it's Aderonke again. Today I'd like to talk about interruption. I try to teach the Yoruba language as well as the culture because the Yoruba context is so much deeper than knowing how to say cup in Yoruba, or knowing how to say school, or knowing how to say how much is this. You know, it's there's a culture that goes with everything, you know. So with interruption, I feel like you can't avoid interruption. If 2 or 3 passionate speakers are gathered in a place, interruption is there among them. Within the Yoruba context, is interruption permissible? Yes. Amongst the English, it is as well. However, you have to say certain magic words like excuse me, or pardon me, or apologize. What else do the English say? Apart from these 3, I don't know. But these are some of the words that you hear when a person interrupts another person. Within the Yoruba context, we have a much richer way of interrupting. So you can interrupt a person knowingly, and you can interrupt them unknowingly. However, whatever the case may be, there are some words that you say that make it permissible. It doesn't matter if you're talking to someone that is, it doesn't matter if you're interrupting someone that is older than you, or someone that is younger than you, or your age mate. If you really want to be polite, there are some words that you say. Speech interruption in Yoruba is called dídá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ẹni lẹ́nu. I'll take that again. Dídá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ẹni lẹ́nu. Dídá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ẹni lẹ́nu. Dídá. Dídá is the act of breaking. I used the word cutting before, but I didn't think that it did the right justice. There are different Yoruba words that sort of align with either breaking or cutting. There's kíkan, there are verbs like kan, verbs like gé, verbs like fo, verbs like da, verbs like be. Different words just allude to breaking or cutting. There's also rire, which is for re, that's slice. Essentially, they are just different words that can be similar. The only 2 options that you have for describing them many times are cut, break, and slice, but that would be re. That's not part of them. But there are different words. There are like 2 or 3 words that when you try to translate them to English, you can only think of the word cut, but you don't think that they're doing the right justice. I was going to say da is cut earlier when I was making the drafts for this video, but I didn't think that did justice. I think breaking is more like it. However, it's not. It's different from fo, because fo is what you use, the verb you use when a ceramic breaks. Ceramics, glass, things of that nature, things that can shatter. Like a computer screen or something. That's when you use fo. Da is when you break something. Think of like a stick, or what else can you da? But anything that is non-glassy that you break, or that breaks, like a piece of wood. I keep thinking of pieces of wood. But anything that is non-glassy, use da. Actually, kon is also related to like when you break, but I would have to treat this in a separate video, because they are synonyms of one another. However, they're just slightly different, like rules slightly different processes for applying them. However, think of da as the word that you use for break, but not for the ceramic kind. Just anything that you break, but doesn't necessarily shatter after you break it. Oro can be word, it can be words collectively, and it can be speech. Oro can be word, it can be words collectively, and it can be speech. Ma is against. It's more of against than any other English word. With transliteration, it's often difficult to find the exact. With many Yoruba words, it's almost extremely difficult with certain words when you're trying to find the exact transliteration. However, against seems to be the best transliteration. Against is ba mole. It's like eat it against the ground. Ba mogiri. That's a bad example. I would slap your face against the wall. It's like I would slap you and then, you know, maybe somehow push you to the wall and slap you against the wall. Mo is against. So it's like, I feel like against really does it actually. I don't know why I felt like it wasn't the exact transliteration, but against does it. So mo is against. Sometimes it can be with. Welcome to the Yoruba context. Fi mo àwọn yòókù. Gbé sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn yòókù. Fi mo owó ọwọ́. Put it with. If I give you $10 and you already have $100 that belongs to me, and I say, Fele mo owó ọwọ́. Put this with what you already have. Mo can also be with. You know, in that case, you know that it can be against, because I mean, how would you be giving me something against what you've already given me? Obviously, you mean with. So it all depends on the context. Any is person. Any is person. The parent word of any is eniyo. Eniyo. Eniyo is person. Any is a shorter form, and it's also person. Any. Lenu. Lenu. Lenu is a combination of two words, ni and enu. I've talked about Yoruba word conjunctions in which two Yoruba words will be put together and made one word. It happens with the way that we speak, and obviously that flew over to the way that we write. So lenu is in the mouth. However, in this context, it would be person's mouth. Okay. The act of breaking words or speech against person's mouth is what it would look like when you translate it word for word. The act of breaking words or speech against person's mouth. You see, I've talked about this. When you're translating to English, Yoruba words are watered down. From a teacher's perspective, it can be frustrating. But there's nothing you can do. That's why I'm always surprised when people take old religious texts, Aramaic texts that have been translated to English. Those texts apply to different cultures, different time frames, different people, different happenings around them. They take it in present times and they consider it to be, I mean, they're reading these words. Obviously, they've been translated to English. They've been watered down. They've been changed to fit a certain context, to fit a certain political or social propaganda. They take these words and they consider them to be the absolute truth. If I don't see the Aramaic texts, if I don't learn the language that Jesus spoke, or I don't learn Arabic, or I don't learn something that these people spoke during their lifetimes, I would take everything with a grain of salt. I don't know if I'm making sense here. I wouldn't make it my absolute truth just because, fine. I mean, what religious text wasn't formed at the time that was different from now? But I mean, if it's a different language, I want to be able to interpret the original by myself, the undiluted version. So obviously those people, sometimes they even become fanatics of the wrong thing. Because I mean, if you really want to know what Jesus said, learn the language that it spoke, learn the context that he used it in, don't just read it in English. Neither Muhammad or Jesus or none of these people, Rumi, Buddha, whatever, none of them spoke English. So I guess it doesn't make sense when you make it the absolute truth. Same with the Yoruba context. Sometimes things are changed. Things are watered down in the course of translating it to English. And so there's nothing you can do. The act of breaking words or speech against person's mouth. The act of breaking words or speech against person's mouth. So the person, when you barge in, they're only able to say off of a word or off of the general sentence that they want to say. If someone is trying to say hospitalization and they are trying to say and you break in and you say, oh yeah, and I suddenly remember something. Do you know that you've interrupted? The words they wanted to emit, that they wanted to say, have now been broken. The word has been broken. A word has been, you've not allowed them to complete their word or their sentence. You've interrupted. Didaoromo eni lenu alludes to interruption. You break a person's words mid-sentence while they're trying to get it out. The verb is da oromo eni lenu. Da oromo eni lenu. Da is break, oro is speech, mo is against, any person. Lenu is in the mouth, but when you say eni lenu, in this context, it would be person's mouth. So break words or speech against person's mouth. Interrupt speech. Talk over someone while they're speaking. So let me put that in a context. I've said that didaoromo eni lenu is the noun. Daoromo eni lenu is the verb. If I say Ronke da oromo Michael lenu, if I say Ronke da oromo Labake lenu, I've just said Ronke interrupted Labake, or Ronke interrupted Michael, or Ronke interrupted Shola. Da oromo eni lenu is the verb. Dida oromo eni lenu is the noun. Da oromo eni lenu is the verb. Ronke da oromo won lenu. Ronke interrupted their speech. Ronke da oromo lenu. Ronke interrupted his or her speech. Shola da oromo mi lenu. Shola interrupted my speech. So interrupt speech is what da oromo eni lenu is. Now, how do you ask the question? Ṣé a lè dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ènìyàn tàbí ẹni lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó tọ́? Ṣé a lè dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ẹni lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó tọ́? Ṣé a lè dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ènìyàn lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó tọ́? Ṣé a lè dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ènìyàn lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó tọ́? Ṣé a lè dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ènìyàn lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó tọ́? Ṣé a lè is can we, I is we. Ṣé a lè, can we dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ènìyàn lẹ́nu is interrupt a person lọ́nà tó tọ́, in a on his way. In a way, lọ́nà is a combination of two words. Ní ọ̀nà. In a way, tó, that is, tó is a combination of two words as well. T-O. That is, tó is like appropriate. Can we interrupt a person in a way that is appropriate? Can we interrupt a person appropriately? Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Yes. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. A lè dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ènìyàn lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó tọ́. Yes, we can interrupt a person appropriately. Ṣé is can we? Is it possible? Can? Yes, we can. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. a lè dá ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ènìyàn lẹ́nu lọ́nà tó tọ́. So, that's it. Now let's go into what you say exactly, the magic words, so to speak. Think of any Hollywood movie that aligns with this. Think of maybe a divine being or a mysterious person, you know. If you step before them within the Hollywood context and they say, oh, in whose name do you come? Or by what power have you done this? Or are you about to do this? Or did you do this? You know, you align to something to make it permissible, either to approach them or to take something from them, or to, you want to take something from a magical well somewhere. They tell you, what are the magic words? In what name do you take this piece of gold from this sacred forest, enchanted forest? You have to have something. So these are the magic words. You say, mo fowo atomo di yin lenu. Mo fowo atomo di yin lenu. That's what makes it okay to interrupt a person. To consciously interrupt them or unconsciously, to do it with intention or without, as long as it is done, a form of interruption has happened, or you're about to interrupt someone, you say, mo fowo atomo di yin lenu. Then they have to wait till you finish what you have to say. They said the magic words to you, they've appealed to your divinity in a way, so you have to, I guess, let them finish, although they're interrupting you. It's just that they really have to get it out of them, I guess. So they really have to say it. So that's when you say, mo fowo atomo di yin lenu. You may say this before you interrupt a person, and you may say it after. Ni there may be replaced with e. Alright? When it's ni, you are either talking to someone that is older than you, or two or more persons of any age. There could be two children. There could be an adult and a child talking. You want to interrupt them both. If it's just one person talking at the time and they happen to be older than you and you want to interrupt them, so someone that is older than you, two or more persons of any age, one could be 1 and the other could be 100, doesn't matter. As long as there's more than one person, it's plural. And as long as the person you're talking to is older than you, although they're just one person, you use plural pronouns. So, ni, if it's one person that is younger than you, or your age mate, you say, mo fowo atomo di lenu. Mo fowo atomo di lenu. Mo fowo atomo di lenu. My age mate, or someone that's just one person that is younger than me, or just one person that is my age mate. Mo fowo atomo di lenu. If it's one person that is older than me, or two or more persons of any age, it will be mo fowo atomo di yin lenu. Then it becomes plural. Mo fowo atomo di yin lenu. Mo fowo atomo di lenu. We don't have gender-specific pronouns. We, however, focus on respect. The same pronoun that you would use for one person that is older than you is the same pronoun that you would use for two or more persons of any age. Because they are one person that is older than you, they've become plural. However, when you're talking to someone that is younger than you or your age mate, then you use the applicable pronoun. Okay, what does it mean? Mo is I. Mo is I. Fi owo. Fi is use. Fi is use. Owo is money. Owo. Owo. Akpekanuko. Owo is money. Atomo. Atomo. Atomo is not an original word. It's a combination of two words. Ati is hand. Atomo. Combination of two words. Ati and omo. Atomo, at his hand. Omo is child. It could be children collectively. one child is omo. However, when you're referring to children in the collective, you don't necessarily want to say, oh, omo merin, omo maro. You don't want to specify 5 children, 6 children. You say omo as a collective. So children or child, whatever. D is to block. D is to block or block. Ni is you. Ni is you. If you use e, it's also you. However, you would be talking to one person that is younger than you or your age mate. If you use ni, you are talking to someone that is older than you or 2 or more persons, irrespective of their ages. Lenu, combination of 2 words as well. Ni is in or in the. Enu is mouth. I've talked about body parts. So if you want to see my video on body parts, I've covered like parts of the head, parts of the neck, I guess, and the general body parts. I've not gotten to the rest, but I will soon. Enu is mouth. I use money and children to block you in the mouth, to block your mouth. When you transliterate it, I use money and children to block you in the mouth. Block you in the mouth will be to block your mouth. If you bring it to the English language, I said this earlier, you know, when you're transliterating, some things get watered down and you think, wow, what kind of language is this? Are they transliterating? You can't judge the Yoruba language by what it looks like when you transliterate it to English or French. It's a rich language in and of itself that gets slightly ruined when you translate it to English. However, there's nothing that you can, I don't want to say ruined, because then if you're learning the language, you become upset. I wouldn't say ruined, but just watered down. But what can you do? So, think about this. Think about this. If I wasn't a Yoruba person and I never knew anything about the Yoruba people, and I read, I use money and children to block your mouth, I would think, wow, these people, they eat people. They must be cannibals. Why would you block a person's mouth with children and money? You're weird. No, that's not what it means. When you transliterate it, this is what it is, but it is not what it means. This is what it means. I block your mouth. I block your mouth would be, I interrupt you. With money and children would be, in the name of money and children, when you, with the same meaning that it has, bring it to the English, translate it pretty much, just translate it so that it makes sense, so that it makes sense to the English or to people who speak English, to English language speakers. You say, I block your mouth is, I interrupt you. With money and children would be, in the name of money and children. So, in the name of money and children, I interrupt you. I interrupt you is what mo fowo atomo di lenu or mo fowo atomo di lenu means. I block your mouth. I interrupt you. But I don't just do it. It is in the name of money and children that I interrupt you. Then the other person comes down because, I mean, these are the things that make the world go round. With money, it's the physical aspect. It's the physical aspect. You need money to go about your day. Before, we used to do the trade and barter and there was nothing like money. Although you would give a person a piece of gold and they may give you maybe 16 cows or something. It wasn't popular in the beginning. Using resources as means of exchange, I guess it was a form of trade and barter too, you know. I suppose it's still aligned with that, but then we moved to carries and then, you know, we've had different means of it before we finally moved to notes. And we used to spend the pounds and shillings then because of the pre-1960, because of the British rule, you know. colonialism. It's funny, I was saying it in my video on what Akata means, that there's a very bad view on what Africans were doing, really, when Black Americans were being treated poorly in America. And when you go to the history books, it wasn't rosy in Nigeria either, or Benin, or Togo, or Ghana. It wasn't like everybody was a king. The way that it is thought of, kings and queens, it wasn't that everyone was divinity and everyone was enjoying. A lot of our kings were made useless, were made powerless with the introduction of different powers. And although some people fought, there are lots of people that fought against colonialism, and just some people just coming in, barging into their space to take away their power and to, I guess, screw up everything, from the religion to the way of thinking to practically everything. There were some people that were very resistant. You think of people like Jaja of Opobo. You see Queen this of that and Queen something of Ethiopia, and there are lots of them. But in the face of guns, suppose they were powerless. What can a machete do when there's a gun in your face? So the thought is, those Africans, we're not like them. We don't have anything to do with them. They're not right. When we were going through this and going through that, and our ancestors were suffering in America, they were drinking emu, palm wine, and they were eating erogbe, bush meat, and they didn't care about us so much. That's a lie. That's not true. That's not true. They were suffering back home as well. Maybe not knowing that they were suffering, slowly watching their culture being taken from them. There was in the Nigerian history, there was an era of military government where people were just being killed indiscriminately, and you just had to align to whatever military government was in power. My point is, it wasn't rosy back home either. So I just feel like I need to say that. I don't even know why I began to say that, but I just feel like I need to put that out there. Back to money and children. In the physical sense, money is powerful. Money is what makes the world work. In the spiritual, not exactly like material sense, it's children. They are the resources that keep the earth alive. Each person, each new child, when they come to the world, they have an assignment. They have something to contribute. I feel like people like Michael Jackson knew this almost all their life, that if there's anyone we should be imitating as far as how we approach many things of the world, it should be a child. And obviously things would be much better than it is right now. The innocence of a child, the willingness to forgive, the many things that children, when they first come to the world, teach us before we, I guess, make them acclimatize with our rough ways on earth. Children come with that. So these two phenomena are extremely powerful. They are two powerful things that are big enough to make you interrupt a person. I mean, why else would you dare to interrupt a person if it's not in the name of money and in the name of children? They're not exactly mutually exclusive. They're two, however, they are two powerful phenomena on their own. This doesn't mean, I wish you money and children, but please, I'd like to interrupt you. I wish you money and children. I hope that's okay. Because I'm interrupting you, I wish you money and children. No, it's not I wish you. You're not exactly wishing that person money and children. However, you're saying, by the power vested in me, by money, by the strength of money and the strength of children, I appeal to your divinity to let me interrupt you. Let me stop you for a second while I say whatever I have to say. It's in the name of these two powerful things that I dare to do this. So it's a sign of showing respect, you know. As a person with a form of, with an ori, you know, you have a form of divinity yourself. You shouldn't be interrupted while you're talking except the person has the magic words. And what other things are more powerful than children and than money and souls? You know, what other thing is more powerful than money and children? You know, it's only in the name of these things that a person that it would be okay to interrupt a person. Therefore, in the name of, it's like, it's in many places in the Bible, and I suppose in the Quran, and maybe even within the Ifa context and different contexts. You have to have amongst the Christians, they say in the name of Jesus. You know, every knee must bow. That's more of in the conquering context. Anyway, you're conquering. However, this is not conquering. You're not conquering a person in the name. You're just appealing to their divinity, telling them to excuse you for wanting to interrupt them or interrupting them in the name of two powerful parts of what makes the world work: money and children. So that's about it for what the words mean and why we would use we're not cannibals. If you don't know anything about the Yoruba culture and this is the first video you're watching, we're not cannibals. We're just appealing to a person's divinity with money and children. You know, it's in the name of money and it's in the name of children that I interrupt you. So that's basically what it is. If you have any questions regarding this, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to respond. Are there other ways of interrupting persons? Yes, there could be. I don't know why I said yes. I don't think there is any, but I guess it's, you know, I interrupt you in the name of money and honor. Those two big things. It doesn't mean that whether children or money cannot be replaced with something else. You know, it's dependent on the person. If you think glory or fame or honor is what makes is a big thing, the only big reason why a person could be interrupted, then I guess you may take out children and use that. You know, if you don't believe in children as significant to how the world works or to things, I suppose, but the standard would be fowo, atomo, lenu. Doesn't mean it cannot be replaced by whatever you choose. You know, it's the Yoruba culture. One of the things that you quickly know is that not only can words be used in different contexts, it's not so rigid, you know. The way that you apply proverbs, even with the way that you apply metaphors with many things, it's so fluid that it doesn't always have to be. And sometimes you could say a thing and it may not be exactly what you mean. You know, that's it's not so much learning the language, like I said, it's more importantly learning the culture. It's in the process of learning the culture that you learn the language. You know, a lot of people just want to, I guess, learn the spiritual aspects. They probably have a dream, they see or show. They don't really care much about learning the culture. They want to, I guess, relate with the deity the way that they feel is right. I mean, you can't throw away thousands of basically art teaching our devotees how to approach her and all that, and revelations from thousands. You can't just throw that away because you feel that, oh, when I mix honey with 15 cubes of sugar and I throw it into a river, oh, I've honored Oshun. Well, you know, you can't. Some people don't really want to. And apart from even the religious aspect, there's a general day to day, I guess even deity worship is day to day, but there's a general aspect that would even help you in your deity worship, in your relationship with fellow devotees / divinities on earth, your fellow. So that's, I guess I'm basically saying, it's good if a person tries to learn the culture. This is a part of the culture. When it comes to interrupting, whether you do it intentionally or you say it after, this is what to say. Mo fowo atomo di lenu, depending on their age, like I've said, or mo fowo atomo di lenu if you've interrupted the person or you're about to. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to respond. Thank you for liking my videos and subscribing and sharing my videos. If you haven't, please do so. It would help a lot. And thank you for your support. Thank you so much to the people who have joined my list of patrons. Thank you so much. Please see the description for further details. And I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day and goodbye.